Hello, hello. Good morning, happy Sunday. Let's see. 3 of us online right now watching. Can you hear me? I'm going to allow people to pop in and join us live. 10 watchers live last week. That was good. Excellent. Claire, hello Claire. Remember, please do me a favour. Tag someone in this feed that you think would benefit from joining us, watching this Q&A, learning from it. If you have any questions, write that in the comments right now. And share away. Please do share this post on Facebook. If you write a little thing saying, hey, watch this live Q&A, that helps Facebook share it around the world. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to log in and join us. There we go, that might be a bit better, a bit brighter. A couple of you in. How has everyone been? Lockdown is easing up. Usual setup here as well, guys. Got my laptop set up over here. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Facebook production is working over here. And then over here, I've got my phone. But please, 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 get your friends, your family involved today. Get them watching the feed. Say hi, because remember, I can't see you unless you write hi. I cannot see you, and I want to be polite and say hello to you. That's really important to me. I've got a couple of questions to go over today. I don't know if those people are online with us actually today or not, but a couple of questions to go over, and then it's completely up to you. If you guys have a question, ask it nice and live. Rachel, hello Rachel. Morning, how are you? You did another late run, didn't you? I got a notification. It'd be nice if we can get back to the start of lockdown figures where we're having 18 people live. If not, that's cool. I'm going to get going in a minute time, so please click share. There is a way I can find out when people click share, but I'm not going to force that upon you. Please click share and write a little message saying, hey, come and watch this guy talk about nutrition, health, fitness, running, training, coffee. Saw some friends yesterday, socially distanced. First time someone mentioned about the cocktails I've been making. They were like, will you really making cocktails like every day? Pretty much, yes. So say hi if you haven't said hi already. If the sound is good, just let me know right in the comments saying, yep, we can hear you well. I'm going to launch my first question just here. Fingers crossed this pops up on your feed. It was really cool in the first few weeks when this was popping up at the top of the feed. Rachel said, no, not last night, but my runs haven't been logging, so I was messing about with the laptop and managed to get it. That makes sense. So I was like, another late run. Amazing. Good morning, Zana. How are you, Zana? Cool, so it's worked. I think it's worked. Who else is getting this? There's a little question here which says, mindset, am I pushing hard, question mark, training goals, etc. I'll decipher the question for you, don't worry. If you can see that, hit like, love, heart, wow right now. That would be really, really cool if that is working. Do I do that? Yeah. So if you have a question, pop it in the comments. I'm going to start answering this question right now. I'm going to explain it in a little bit of detail for you as well. So if I get the question, how do I get the question back? I don't know. Hopefully it's showing on yours, guys. So the question was about mindset, and this is kind of a term which is used an awful lot at the moment, but this is your approach, this is your behavior, your psychological approach basically towards anything you do. But in my case, what I'm talking to you about is training and nutrition. Training obviously includes any form of fitness, any form of exercise, running, etc. So mindset, am I pushing hard enough? Am I pushing too hard? Am I working towards my training goals? And this is something we face a lot of the time. A lot of us will get really excited about an idea, about a new mission. For example, someone we may all know being forced to sign up to the Manchester Marathon over a couple of drinks. I don't know. That probably happens a lot on Friday nights, Saturday nights. This, oh yeah, let's do it. Actually, let's do it together. We will all achieve this thing. Now, my example there is a little bit different because that's not so much about mindset approach, but that kind of thing happens in pubs an awful lot. And for the first week or two, Caroline, hello Caroline, how are you? The first, to get the question back, there's a question mark next to the comment section, click on it. Zana, you legend! Amazing, thank you. So with this concept, it's basically, we get ourselves prepared, we get really excited about a new mission, a new goal, but it's then about how do we take that further? How do we consistently work towards that ambition, and we maintain motivation, we maintain our interest really within the topic, our passion for the topic. This is something everyone struggles with at some point or other, particularly when results start plateauing. At plateaus, they're completely normal. Ups and downs of training, of nutrition, absolutely happen to every single person. So accepting that and accepting and expecting, should get that printed on a t-shirt. Kate, if you're watching, write that one down. But accepting something will happen and expecting something will happen is excellent for your own mindset about, right, I know this is going to happen at some point, so when it does, let's not panic, let's not throw my toys out the pram, let's just go, cool, I'm here now. So all I'm looking towards now is the next stage of progress, the next stage of the plan. We know it's about to happen at some point, so it's not an issue whatsoever. So a common thing in terms of like weight loss programming is that we expect no progress to be made Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So no progress is going to be made. So if you do make progress, wow, what a motivational kick that will be. If you don't make progress, cool. Did I maintain? Oh, what a success. Did I dip back a little bit? No problem at all, because it's expected, and then Monday comes around again and we just work on. If you're not going to communicate, or if your coach isn't communicating that with you as the client, then really you need to be considering whether that person has your best interests at heart. I think it's really, really important that we always have this plan in place, that we know something will come up during the training plan, and all we need to do is expect it to happen and adapt as a result if required. If it's already within the plan though, there shouldn't be too much tinkering that is necessary. Now, in particular for this question, because I'm going to press that button again, thanks Anna, mindset, am I pushing hard? That was like, am I pushing hard enough with regards to training? So this person's basically asked their questions in relation to the fact of, okay, I know I want to train to achieve such and such a goal, but I am not entirely sure actually if I'm working hard enough. This might sound peculiar. If this is peculiar, this isn't something that you have experienced before, that's not a problem. We don't all have this, but very often, and it's not unusual, for someone to be going through the process but not necessarily feeling every single moment. It's very difficult, it's very demanding to have that. But your mindset to achieving your goal should be, hey Ian, good morning to you, Ian. Your mindset in order to achieve your goals should always be focused on, right, is all of my effort going into each of these sessions? Am I applying myself to everything? Asking those few questions, expecting and accepting that a few sessions And a few days down where you just don't feel motivated is absolutely fine. But over the macro environment, so over the long-term projection, have you made the effort to deserve the reward? That's the real big question. So for this individual, going through training sessions and just going through the process does happen. And it's at that point you need to say, right, actually, I trained 10 times in 2 weeks, so really good. Out of how many of those sessions did I actually push myself hard enough to cause a little bit of fatigue? Did I push hard enough to ensure that my form was good? Remember, pushing, effort, intensity, isn't just about feeling fatigued. It's also about, right, I performed every move really technically well and I'm really happy with that. So mindset is about basically checking back on yourself and saying, right, how hard did I apply myself to this session, this session, this session? And remember, not every training session should be hard or is appropriate to be training really, really hard. Now, a lot of fitness instructors in particular will say, right, the goal of this session is to make everyone throw up. That's not cool. That's not training. That's kind of sums up really low level fitness instructing and personal training. That's not how you create training adaptations, and it's certainly not how you keep people motivated. Your mindset should be about appreciating that macro of, so were the majority of my sessions working towards something? Was the majority of my week working towards, can I honestly say, working towards my calorie goal or my protein goal, whatever it is? Have I actually put enough effort in? Have I considered my habits that I wanted to instill that week? Whether it's a bit of sleep hygiene, so thinking about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, reading a book before you go, or using, what's the app which sounds like my voice? Not Drone. Hopefully it's not Drone. Headspace. Was it that Headspace I listen to every night before bed? That's something that Kate and I are using at the moment, which is really cool. I really like it. Particularly the Cat Marine episode. If you haven't listened to that one, try it. But it's about putting certain habits in place of your week. I used to, when I was working a very long hours job, I used to basically make sure that whenever I possibly could, even if it was really late at night when I got home, I would do a little bit of yoga with Adrian. She was in charge, she could take me through this routine, and it really, really helped me de-stress. And that's like quite a structured habit to form. Another thing, if I had a really, really, really stressful day and I got home again really, really late, an unstructured habit was, okay, I'm just going to stroke my cat, my little pet cat, can be a dog, whatever. I'm going to stroke them for a few minutes just to relax me, switch off, and that helped my mindset in terms of, I had this plan, expectation, right, stroke my cat at night, relaxes me, sets me up for the next day. And that helped my mindset in order to tackle each day moving forwards. So mindset is really, really important. It's about you checking back on yourself, appreciating not everything has to be hard and grueling, but at some point, the majority has to be. You have to work towards that major bit. If this is making sense to you guys, I want you to write something in that question. So if, like Xander said, click the question mark button and the question pops up which says mindset, am I pushing hard, training goals, etc. And just write whether you feel you are pushing hard or not towards any of your goals right now, then click send. I want to see what happens. Andy, good morning, Andy. Rachel says, I often think this myself. Ah, cool. Very cool, Rachel. Nice one. We've done a little bit of sleep talk, haven't we? At this point, guys, so make sure you answer that question. I'm going to see what happens with the questions. And then, because I'm going to close that question in 30 seconds, and then please, please, please click share for this and share it on your feed. Write a little comment of why people should be watching, how they can benefit from it. ask a question. If you have a training question, we're here for another 14 minutes. I've got another question to go through. If you have a question, write it in the comments and I will prioritize you for watching live, and I'll answer that live here, right now. Right, 20 more seconds, then I'm going to put up the next question, which for me came up around here. Hopefully it comes up there for you as well. 10 seconds. I'm going to use all of the software capability of Facebook today. We even might do a poll. Right, I hope you've answered. I hope you've said in that question box 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's gone. Questions are over. Next question that I had sent in this week is this one. Hopefully it's going to pop up on your feed in a second. It says, should my runs always feel hard? I thought I was getting better. So it's really closely linked to that mindset one, isn't it? There's obviously a theme at the moment. Lots of races now confirmed as cancelled. You might have seen my post about Danny and his marathon being confirmed as cancelled. Ooh, there it goes. It's popped up. Should my runs always feel hard? I thought I was getting better. Click the angry face right now if you felt this at some point. Come on, we've all been there. Thought you were making progress and you've had just one run which felt hard and you're like, why does it feel hard? Click the angry face. Go on, do it. I dare you. Wonder if I can see anyone do it as well. Usually I see reactions like, love, haha, wow. I don't know if I'm not seeing them because no one's pressing them. Right, let's get on with answering this question. So, hopefully you feel, or you understand, you feel for this person, you understand this predicament of, you've been running for, say, 6 weeks and you were making really good progress, you were really happy, and now you've got to this point where, it just feels hard. Why aren't I getting any better? Why is it feeling like an effort to still do my easy run? So my easy run is that recovery kind of run. First things first, you're probably running your easy run too fast. That's the simplest way to answer this question. You have probably gone out and you're running your easy run, but you're always doing it slightly faster, so it never feels that easy. Easy runs are really, truly easy, and you may even feel that you're taking it too slowly. Easy running is the easiest way to accrue volume in your training program. So if you're doing something for a half marathon, for a full marathon, the majority of a training plan is actually taken up by this easy running stuff. Now, it doesn't matter if you haven't been training for that stuff. We've possibly all been here before in terms of, it just feels like every run is really super tough. The first kind of point to move on to after you've looked at paces, so whether you've been running too fast, is, so actually, am I feeling the runs I go on? Am I taking a second just to feel what something is like as I run through it? If you're not, you need to spend a week doing that. So you need to be thinking, right, how does this feel under my feet? Am I lifting my knees up? Am I noticing my hips are moving a lot side to side? Am I noticing I'm moving lots like this as opposed to this? The slower we run, it actually causes a little bit more impact upon our body, and therefore we basically have to be a little bit more aware. And if we're running, just looking at our watch all the time, there's a couple of you guys from Friday Night Track Club, when we're doing sessions on the track, or have been doing sessions on the track pre-lockdown, we were like, or I would be like on a rep, right, no one looks at their watch, ignore it, just feel. That's really, really important. Andy, who's watching right now, he was great and still is, I imagine, absolutely brilliant at feeling the pace of a run. I cannot wait to get back and see him going around the track and being like, wow, that was a 128 and you've just felt it and you've never looked at your watch that whole time. So feeling how you're running is the first stage, really. Once you get to that point at which it's okay, if you feel like your paces haven't increased and your easy run is at the correct easy running pace, and no, the majority of the other variables aren't differentiating. I think differentiating is probably the right word. We'll go with that. Then basically, we just need to spend a little bit of time at that level. So if your hydration's correct, your eating, your sleep, all of those things are roughly here, there, in the right place, then if you are feeling like everything is just feeling hard right now, you've done a week of feeling what runs feel like, you're not there to increase fitness. You're there just to understand what that sensation feels like. So we're just going to stay here at this level until we get the sensation of a little bit of enjoyment and a little bit of, actually that did feel quite nice today. And then you make sure you stretched after your run, so release a little bit of stress in those legs, a little bit of intensity, because otherwise you'll get tighter and tighter and you won't get that sensation of it feeling easier. But you spend a week, 2 weeks just cruising at that same intensity and pace, and then fingers crossed, the sensation of, that was actually quite a pleasant, easy run. That means you're at that right stage, and then we'll take your intensity back up. We get really, really overwhelmed about progression sometimes, trying to push on, increasing our fitness. You're not going to increase your fitness if the enjoyment goes out of it, you never have an easier session, and actually you just stop after 10 weeks. You're not going to then push on, particularly if you don't have a coach. If you have a coach that maybe you can discuss these things with, then sometimes they'll be able to pull you through. But without that coach in place, you need to think, right, I need to get back to just enjoying this one run rather than always having the enjoyment afterwards, which is great, but this just felt comfortable, didn't kind of feel overly stressed doing this run, and therefore you'll continue training. If you don't get that, you just stop training, and obviously your fitness plummets, and then you start again 6 months later, and you're in that cycle, that self-perpetuating cycle where maybe you were training for the 10K, the Birmingham 10K, and you did the Birmingham 10K, and then you don't train again for another 6, 7, 8, 9 months until it comes around to that time again. So if you are feeling that all of your runs are really hard, check those points. First thing, is your easy run pace actually slow enough? Second thing, are you actually just getting faster and fitter, and therefore you're increasing your easy run pace time and time again? And then third thing, make sure you are feeling your runs. Understand what it feels like to be running. Do this for a week of runs, and then try just keeping your pace, keeping everything the same, not progressing, not trying to improve, and running everything, feeling every little bit, feeling how your body's moving. Find some wins, so this run I was running like this, now I'm running like this. That feels like I've made a little bit of an improvement. As soon as you get that fun feeling back that you've made some progress, but it's not speed or fitness progress, it's the feel of that felt easier on my body at some point, or it felt less stressful, then you found it, then we go back into that progressive training plan. Hopefully that has helped, guys. Click like, love, wow. I want to see some emojis, some emoji reactions. If you have a question, this is your time to pop it in the questions point right now. We've got a few minutes left, and I want to answer some questions live. There's only 7 of you watching, but I do appreciate you 7, so take advantage of it. You could all ask a question right here, right now. Here's some emoji reactions. Cool. Fran, hello Fran. It said that you were watching. Hopefully you're still watching with us. I'm going to see if the question thing worked as well earlier for the mindset. 1 response. Where are the rest of you? Or are you busy? Can you not type and you're just listening? That's not a problem, I accept that. The response said, yes, nutrition-wise, but more effort needed in training. That's really cool. People usually find it the reverse. People find it easier to make the effort at training, but nutrition is really, really difficult. And I'm sure many of you will be feeling like that. Thank you very much for that. That's a nice response. Single response, but a good response. Right, if you have a question, you've got 30 seconds. Even write hold on, Arj, and I'll hold on basically for you. Whilst you guys are writing questions, if you have a question, I'm going to talk to you about something. So a few weeks ago, I mentioned about my Achilles ankle injury, and I spoke to you about. Did I? I don't know actually if I did tell you how I did it. Did it in the most ridiculous way. I was coaching online, so I have like a tripod and stuff to carry up, and I have my laptop. I finished this session and went to the stairs, slipped on the very first step, jarred my hamstring. Was like, oh, my hamstring hurt. That obviously affected my running gait. I'd rolled my ankle at the start of lockdown because the pavements are horrendous. Anyway, Achilles injury, didn't deal with it properly at the time. Have been dealing with it since, a little bit of light stretching, some calf raises to strengthen the calf, but tons and tons of icing for 1 week. And then, to be honest, not enough icing since then, but a massive, massive improvement. Spent the last 10 days just doing easy runs into things, or even 7 days, and then a few days I got lulled into doing a 5K training session. We all have our weaknesses. Oddly, mine involved basically getting an ice cream if I did the training session, so naturally I did the training session. That's what we do, right? But now I am finding that my Achilles is dealing with it. So what I'm doing, this is probably useful for you guys, is I'm adding a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of volume to each running session. So the idea is like half a K to a K on each running session, just making sure that I don't go, right, now let's try 10K. I've been doing 4K, 4.5K, 5K, 4.5K. I did a 6.5 today, no pain. That is how you return back from injury. Do not try and jump right back up to where the program was, or think, I need to push on now to make up for the lost time. No, you will ruin it. Right, Andy's has a question that's come in. I'm up and down in training at the moment as I have no runs to aim for. Yeah, really difficult. I think you might be writing something more there, Andy. It is really, really difficult without something to aim for, especially hard in the changeable weather. Yeah, so changeable at the moment. There's like a tornado going on outside behind you guys. That's why I'm not doing outside, because it's actually fairly warm. Yesterday being torrential. Andy, I said this to someone else yesterday, and I'll probably say it to you as well. Write down some things that you want to achieve for the next 12 months and send them to me. You've got my number, or drop me an email, info@performancephysique.co.uk. Just write down some running, training related things that you want to achieve in the next 12 months. That's all you have to do, nothing more. Let's say 3 things that you would like to achieve. Have a think and I'll have a response for you. It doesn't look like we're having any more questions. Hold right now if you do have a question. Otherwise, I can't remember the other thing actually I was going to talk to you about. Never mind. Otherwise, we will be back next Sunday for another Q&A. I'm going to be doing a topic, then some Q&A afterwards. So alternating this format of education, then a little bit of Q&A, and then Q&A the whole time, then education, a little bit of Q&A. Really enjoy doing that. Hopefully it's been working for you guys as well. If you have any questions, it's your last 30 seconds to do so, to write a question in. Oh, here they come. Right. I like that, Kate. Hold. Andy says, also, I was thinking about food today. Are there certain foods that help with performance, or is it all about macros? Right, really, really, really cool. Like beetroot. Right, questions are in. Let's delay everything. Guys, grab yourself a drink. Buckle up. Let's talk. So, foods, performance eating, macros, calories. This is a great topic, Andy. Fantastic. Okay, don't say I'm lazy. I'm going to answer your question too afterwards. So, food. Food for performance really depends on the event you're training for. So that's the first caveat disclaimer. It doesn't just rely on macros. Macros are actually completely redundant for everything except for performance. They don't matter a single bit for weight loss. They matter a small component for health, but they're again overwhelmed by the importance of calories. But for performance, so endurance runners, we definitely need this macronutrient kind of variation, which has a much higher composition of carbohydrates. For strength athletes, we definitely have to always look after our fat percentage. We can't really let it drop below 25%. Ideally, it's 30%, and that's basically for sex steroid production. So ensuring that you get stronger and stronger. And protein, balancing the requirement for protein for recovery and muscle tissue regeneration and repair, vital, absolutely vital. So that's the first section really. Know which area you need to be working towards. If it's endurance, your priority really will be that carbohydrate, protein sit in the middle. If it's for strength work, then it will go like this. Fat will be the thing that you look after the most, and protein will be there obviously for repair and development. So then foods. You mentioned beetroot. My physiology lecturer in year 3 was he was involved in the study. I don't think he was actually one of the authors. I think he was just one of the tech bodies that you'd have to be, for a guy called Glaister. And Glaister did multiple sprint tests and effectively used something called Beat It, so that beetroot juice. And what they found, and they did loads of studies in the end, well, obviously they released this product called Beat It, which was like a shot of beetroot juice, nothing else. It improved nitrous oxide. So basically they found that consuming this substance improved repeated sprintability and had an effect on short recovery periods. So if you were doing, say, at a track and field race, heats and finals, this was a great thing to be consuming. The difficult thing is, it looked like that it was blunting adaptations. So like I spoke about heat and cold in training environments, taking this substance possibly wasn't great in a long-term thing, and you should only use it at competition. That's the first thing for beetroot juice. Also, being aware of, if you're effectively an endurance athlete and you're consuming loads of this substance or this food, substance sounds dodgy, doesn't it? This food, the calories that you're consuming from that item, because weight gain outweighed the performance benefit. So you'd have to ensure that you basically were staying within your calorie target, achieving that weight maintenance, not gaining weight, in order to still benefit, because weight loss outweighed again any effects on VO2 max than consuming stuff like beetroot juice or cherry active, like a cherry drink again. So that's really important. Consuming a fish oil concentrate has massive benefits, even more benefits than just taking your cod liver oil. It's vastly superior in its EPA and DHA amounts, so that's something to look out for. Consuming your 3,000 milligrams per day, as long as you don't have any medical contraindications. So there are effects of fish oil concentrate or omegas, whatever you take, on warfarin. Thins your blood too much, so you can't consume both. Same with like diabetes. Andy, you actually might remember the oh, it's going to annoy me. You might remember the medication loads of people take for diabetes. Oh, it's just dropped out of my head. Anyway, there are lots of medical contraindications which you have to be careful with. But basically, taking a fish oil concentrate has had unbelievable performance improvements, and therefore should probably be something you're consuming. Consuming if you're just looking for health, no matter what, but for performance, again, major improvements. Stuff like vitamin D, talk about it all the time. Yes, metformin, that's the one. I knew what you meant by meteorin. I like that. I think that's probably autocorrect, isn't it? Yeah, metformin having a contraindication with, so needing to be really careful with that kind of stuff. But vitamin D, I know I talk about it all the time, but basically vitamin D levels and seeming to have an effect on testosterone. What we have particularly in endurance runners is the significant high level, high volume training decreases testosterone. And that can obviously have a negative effect on performance. Testosterone is a natural performance enhancer. So consuming vitamin D, sufficient levels of vitamin D, actually that's the wrong word, sufficient levels of vitamin D under the guidance isn't actually where you want to be. Optimal levels is also a misrepresented term. Sufficient basically just means you're not severely deficient. It's absolutely ridiculous, it's so confusing for the general population. Why they use it, I don't know. It's probably something to do with toxicity, but basically getting yourself a vitamin D test, and then, which I imagine might be quite easy for you to do, and otherwise CTSAs produce one, and the Vitamin D Foundation.org, I think it is, and utilising that to do a corrective dose of vitamin D, and then just your daily supplementation, say 2,000 IUs if you're Caucasian, and consuming that throughout the year, that should never really be an issue. Just doing a periodic blood test to ensure that that's accurate. Other than that, so a few things will improve performance, but basically carbohydrate has to be high for endurance. Ignore this whole fat adaptation rubbish. The studies are massively flawed. The ones that really push fat adaptation, particularly when they're looking at groups such as Kenyan elite athletes who seem to have some metabolic evolution that has occurred already, which basically allows them to fat adapt better than anyone else. The rest of us cannot achieve fast enough training performances to improve without the availability of carbohydrate. Again, if you're thinking carbohydrate consumption, to maximize it, you need to reduce your fat at whatever time you consume your carbohydrate. Otherwise, you're not going to maximize it. You're not going to make the most of it. Protein is probably something that most endurance athletes are scared of. They think they're going to build massive muscles by consuming loads of protein. No. As long as you can fit it within your calories, like 1.6, 1.8 grams per kilogram of body mass is your daily protein amount, as long as you're getting your carbohydrate amount. And I would comfortably put an endurance athlete above 4 grams per kilo of body weight for carbohydrate consumption. That goes right up. The highest level is 12 grams a kilo, and that's for Tour de France cyclists. You don't need to get anywhere near that. Those guys are burning like 10,000, 14,000 calories in some of the segments. It's absolutely unbelievable. Seen it where they give them bits of lard because they simply cannot get enough calories in. It's when you get into tournament phases or extended bits of competition, which also has training in, or like the Tour, where weight loss basically means your performance is going to drop because you just can't work as hard. You start feeling lethargic. And weight gain means you're trying to shift too much weight around and your performance drops. So you're basically trying to get your athlete to stay at the exact same weight, while some days they burn 10,000 calories, some days they burn 4,000 calories, some days they burn 14,000 calories. Therefore, getting a maintenance all the way through is a real technical nightmare. One of my lecturers was British Cycling, at the time it was Sky British Cycling's nutritionist, and he was saying that during the two, I think at the time he was part of two Team Sky victories, and he was saying the periodization of nutrition for those cyclists is unbelievable in terms of handing the cyclist the bottle of drink that they were having during the race. You know, he leans out the car like this, hands the baton bottle over. Cyclist drinks a little bit, and they always chuck them, don't they? And you're like, oh, that's really bad. That's really, you know, littering during the Tour de France in the middle of the Alps or whatever. They then go in the car, grab the bottle, seal the top, and they now measure how much of that solution, so it's usually like an 8 to 10% carbohydrate solution, getting a little bit geeky now, but they measure how much of that drink has been consumed, and then they calculate, right, they have this lovely spreadsheet, and they calculate how much carbohydrate, how many calories have they consumed, how far behind are they, because they always consume less than they actually should be, because it's uncomfortable consuming foods and liquids during a race, during activity. Always is uncomfortable. And then they have to point out, right, at these hours, these points, we're going to have to refuel them. So when they get back, if we're thousands of calories out, they're going to have to eat and drink a lot. It might be ice cream, it might be a little bit of lard just to bulk those calories up. But because they're so high in fat, and like you said, Andy, we need that carbohydrate really, really to come through and help us out. Right, I hope that was useful, guys. Please click love, like, haha, wow. I think the in-depthness there, me going on a little bit, has caused us to lose a few watchers, so my apologies. But I think that was useful. Personally do. Cool, Andy. Nice question, really liked it. Kate said, I'm lazy, what one stretch should I do after a run? Fantastic, because we are all in that boat. I know loads of us don't stretch. For me, there's an easy answer for this, and it is the standing on the bottom step, holding the handrail, single leg calf drop, because this position basically allows you to stretch your calf, stretch your foot, stretch your soleus, deep muscle underneath your calf, really leading into your Achilles. And then, so if you're standing on the bottom step, I like to do single leg, but start off with both feet at the same time, and then drop those heels as low as possible. By being in this position, you will start to feel the stretch in your calves. You can then adapt it, so greater Achilles stretch, by driving your knee forwards over your toes as you're still standing on that step, or taking a lean and you begin to get the stretch in your hamstrings as well. Excellent position. It's really, really, really simple to do. We spoke about static stretches before. I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but anyway, we spoke about these stretches. 15 seconds is the absolute minimum start on it, and do 3 reps of this, at least 3 sets of 15 seconds on each leg. I tend to do both feet at the same time for 30 seconds, and then single leg 15 seconds, 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 and then 30 seconds again, both on top, both feet at the same time. You might need to start just doing both feet at the same time because your calves are that tight, and you don't want to kind of pull anything too much. But it is really, really useful if you cannot be bothered to do any other stretch to do that one. If your knee's clicking, you've got loads of knee soreness, and maybe you get a little bit of runner's knee, then your stretch should be quad stretching. If you can only bother to do one stretch, standing up, grab your ankle, not your foot, grab your ankle, pull your heel up to your bum, knees together, push your hips forwards. We always forget that part. I don't know if you guys who come to Friday Night Track Club quite realise why, but pushing the hips forwards basically means we're stretching the whole quad muscle, and that's the one for you. Remember, build up towards the 60-second hold. Start with 15 seconds, that's your absolute minimum. No less than that though. Right, I did a little poll just then, and everyone says they've got battles with, I think it should come up. Everyone basically says they've got battles with motivation. Only one of you said nada, no battles with motivation. Amazing. That is impressive if you don't have any. Yes, Kate, you can manage that. Well done. Right, I'm going to disappear, guys. Those of you who said you have battles with motivation, I want you to think about what is the purpose behind what you are doing. Create a vision board then of what you want to be doing. It doesn't actually have to be a physical vision board. You can basically do it on Pinterest. You can do it on any kind of app or notepad, but what you want to achieve and why. It's understanding the why, which is absolutely critical here. Andy, I'll expect that message from you as well. Guys, thank you very, very, very much for joining me. Please click like, love, ha ha wow one more time for me. It's been very nice speaking to you and some really good questions coming in right at the last minute there. Click share if you'd like to again. I will be back next Sunday. Loads of you I'll see you in the classes or our check-ins. Yes, Anna, that's you. Rachel, if you're still here, our check-in midweek. And I'll see you all soon. Take care. Enjoy your sun. Well, it's kind of sunny Sunday, isn't it? And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.